is Corinne from the Sewing Works, and today I want to show you how to use HandiQuilter's bobbin winder. A couple things I want to tell you. If you don't have yours already assembled, there is instructions on how to do so in the box it came with. But when you're putting it together, just make sure your thread mast is above your thread spool and that your pigtail is set just in front of your tensioning unit. Once you have your bobbin winder assembled, I'm going to show you how we're going to wind bobbins. There's a couple different types of thread out there, well, more than just a couple, and the main differences I want to talk about when we're talking about winding bobbins is slick thread versus nappy thread. Often you'll find quilters like to use a thread with a nice sheen to it. This happens to be glide thread, which I love to use, but it tends to want to slip and slough off easier. So whenever I'm using glide, I definitely wind my bobbins less full. As you can see, maybe you can see that I have a loop hanging off this spool already. Don't be afraid to take off any excess thread and get rid of that before you start winding your bobbins. First, I'm going to show you how to wind a nappy thread, which is what I have here is So Fine. I really like using So Fine in my bobbin. I like something with a little nap. It's a little easier to work with. And So Fine happens to allow me to get a lot of yardage on my bobbin. When you're choosing thread weights, if you're going to use something different on the top and the bottom, I would recommend using something thinner on the bottom than on the top instead of the other way around. So you'll put your thread cone onto your thread spool pin, up through the mast, down through the pigtail. And in your directions, it says to wrap the thread through the tensioning unit this way. I will tell you that from going between slick threads and nappy threads, I have better success going around in the opposite direction. So that's a counterclockwise wrap, and you get a full wrap around that tensioner. When you're first starting out, you'll have to get a feel for what this tension should be. It's just a medium pull. It's not coming off super easy, but it's not hard for me to pull that thread off. So you can see it's coming off evenly, but not easily. So I'm just going to break that off since I've pulled some out. Next, I want to direct your attention to this bobbin sensor area. This little prong here is what holds your bobbin in place. If this is too loose, your bobbin will slip on and off very easily, and it might actually fly off in the bobbin winding process. That's why you do want to have to push on this gently to get it to stay. If it becomes too loose, all you need to do is take a flathead screwdriver and twist it inside of that prong to open that up. If it's too tough to get the bobbin on, you can grab a pair of pliers and pinch that back together for you. This white line signifies where the laser eye is going to stop my bobbin winding. So when I have my bobbin in place, I want to make sure that that white line is inside this metal rim. In fact, I want it to be a good 1/8 of an inch in from the edge of my bobbin. You can see from this fully wound bobbin that I have a good 1/8 of an inch from the edge. If you keep your bobbins filled to this level instead of all the way full, you will have a lot better success instead of having the potential for this to slough off on the edges when you're loading and unloading. So once I get my eye set where I want it, and to adjust that, I loosen this lever here, or this knob, and I can slide that in and out. So I want it about right there so that I can't see the edge of my white line behind my bobbin. You'll find you need to cheat that in more with slick threads, or you can just leave it cheated in if you're bouncing back and forth. If you adjust this, keep in mind your thread meter on your machine might differ. If you have set it to record a bobbin that was more full and now you're feeling your bobbins less full, your little reminder will be off, so you'll need to recalibrate that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about that. So to get your bobbin started, you're going to take this off and thread the the end of the thread from the inside to the outside of the bobbin, going through one of the little channels. Maybe. There we go. And slip it onto your bobbin post. Then I like to give it a couple of wraps to get it started. I still have my thread tail out that I can hold on to as I get going. Your speed control on your bobbin winder should never go above 4. I'm not sure why you have 10 numbers on here, but you'll get expansion of your thread and it'll throw your tension off if you wind over 4. So I just keep mine on 4. If you want to put a piece of tape over it to make sure that doesn't change, 4 is the max. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start, and I'm also going to hold on to this thread as it goes, the thread tail, and it just snaps clean. Because I have my sensor set, it'll automatically shut off when it's full. If I don't need a full bobbin, I can hit the stop. Also, I'm watching the thread is going back and forth as it fills. That's what it should be doing. If it is filling too much to one side, the outside or the inside, there is an adjustment for that, and I'll show you that in just a minute when we're done winding this bobbin. There I have my wound bobbin. You can cut that or break that free. So I'm just going to turn this towards you a little bit so that you can see I have a knob on the back side opposite my tensioner. And as I move this knob, if you watch here, it's moving out and back in. So whichever way it's filling too much, and if it's filling too much to the outside, you'll move it in. If it's filling too much to the inside, you'll move it out slightly so that you're getting that thread pass nice and even across your bobbin. As you can see, your bobbin should be nice and level across the top. Thanks for joining us today, learning how to use your bobbin winder. If you have any questions, call your local dealer. I do like to wind several bobbins ahead of time just so I have a few ready to rock and roll. And next you can join us for a tension check. Thank you. Bye.